everybody. Welcome to Demon Tech Digital. I am Neo, and you are looking at the HyperX pudding keycaps black for my keyboard, my Huntsman Mini. Long story short, I would have done this earlier, but I ended up getting the wrong ones. I ended up getting white. They shipped white instead of the black ones, so I just went to Best Buy and took them back, which is where I got them, because Amazon's in stock date kept changing, and I didn't trust it anymore. That being said, let's go ahead and see what we got here. So you go ahead and use the Manix 2 for all cutting necessities. And you remember, always cut towards your face, never cut away. Alright, so comes with its own cap puller. That's what they look like. Let's go ahead and crack this box open and see what we got. Alright. Vacuum sealed fresh, because that's, how you do things. Right off the bat, they feel good. I mean, I haven't even opened them yet. I'm going to do an installation video as well, but they look good. Here's the space bar that I probably won't be using. I don't know, maybe, we'll see. Here's the cap puller, which looks a little bit janky, if I'm honest. We'll see how it works. I've seen some people struggling with these. I don't think they really necessarily knew what they were doing. But, yeah. So, here we go. 104 keys. 3 packages. And that's it. Nice thing about it is it's got a keyboard layout diagram all for you. So you don't have to rely on something else like, another keyboard. There you go. Now I'll be using it, but I won't need half of these keys. A lot of them actually, since I've got a 60% board. But, yeah. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and get cracking, get everything set up, and we'll start the installation process. Got everything set up the way I need to. Apologize for it being upside down. Let's just kind of have how it has to be for me. And I'm going to go ahead and get cracking on these things. Now, I tested this out, and this actually works very well. You just put it in there till it catches, and you pop it out. Grab the escape. Drop it in. What is this? The number 1 key. Struggling. There we go. 2. All right, now that that's done, I am going to go ahead and get cleaned up, get everything cleaned up, and plug it in. Wish me luck. All right, now that we are back from the unboxing and the installation and everything, let's talk about the keycaps themselves, because that is something that needs to be addressed, and that's what this whole video is basically about. Now, in terms of the keycaps themselves, they are very high quality, the material. It's PBT, right? I mean, but it's more of a question of, because we know what they're made of, but how much of that material did they use in the process, right? And they feel pretty thick. They don't feel thin and weak. The walls don't feel flimsy or anything like that. They feel solid. The weld, I guess, for lack of a better term, the merging of the two pieces seems to hold up very well, because they are essentially two pieces. Each cap is two pieces of PBT smashed together, and that's how you get these keys. That's why they're called double shot, because they're injection molded. Now, I will say that one of the big features that I really like about this set of keycaps is the fact that the alternative or secondary characters are illuminated as well. So your exclamation point, your period, your brackets, all that stuff's going to be illuminated right along with the rest of it, because that was a big concern that I had with the ABS keycaps from my Black Widow X Chroma Tournament Edition. The main characters were lit up, but the secondary ones were printed. And that kind of causes you to rely on the lighting from your monitor and things like that. If you're in a low lit environment, like for instance, like if you're gaming and all that's shining through is your monitor, because let's face it, the rest of your RGB is not going to be lit up enough and bright enough to cast on your keys unless you've got some crazy bright LEDs. But so you're getting a lot of your light information from your monitor, and it's shining onto your keys, and that's how you had to kind of rely on that. With these, you don't. You can have your monitors completely off, and they're still going to shine through. Now, as far as the actual legitimate brightness of these, because with a lot of YouTubers, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm not blaming anybody of anything, but the reality of it is these are not going to make the characters of your keyboard any more illuminated than they're allowed to be that are programmed in. Depending, you're going to see variance. Your miles are going to vary depending on what kind of colors you use, right? If you use a darker blue, it's going to not be as bright as, say, a cyan blue. That's just the way it is. Cyan's the brightest of them because it's a mixture of two colors, essentially. It's green and blue. But that being said, they are a nice in-between from the ABS and the stock Razer new PBT caps that come with things like the Huntsman Mini, like mine, and the Huntsman Tournament Edition Elite, things like that. Now, as far as the ones that you can buy from Razer's site that don't have the that don't come with a board, that are completely separate, the replacement keycaps, I don't know about those because I don't use them. I don't have them. I will say, though, like I said before, the ABS will shine brighter, period. Just ended discussion. So they're a good in between. And I don't know whether it's just the ABS itself, the fact that maybe it's a thinner material that they used, and maybe the material's not as dense, therefore it lights the characters better. But the illumination properties of ABS seems to be slightly better. Not like mind-blowingly life-changing better, but a little bit better. And that's really where these fall, because they're not the miracle that a lot of people are saying. Now, I'm going to show you some footage. Here's what they look like in a lit room. Okay, so this is coming from my 2 desk lamps, my 2 side lights, and the light above my head. And as you can see, they're still brightly lit, but they're not, it's not mind-blowing. Okay, here is what it looks like at night, or not at night, but in the dark, without any lights but the monitors, and of course all my friggin' RGB everywhere. It looks like it's a lot brighter, which it is, but I want you to notice one thing. Look at, if you can see it, look at the space bar, okay? And this is going to be my final point for the lighting. Look at the space bar row. You notice how it's not lit, or it's very dimly lit? That's because that's how the lights on the Huntsman Mini work. The lighting is coming from the back of the key. Here's an image of it so you can see. Now look at the back of the key, and you'll notice that that's the light. That's the light source. So the light doesn't go all the way around the key stand or the key body itself. It's just at the back. And so what these keycaps do is, because they have a diffuse white to them, what they do is the rear row will illuminate the forward row. So spacebar will illuminate shift row, and shift will illuminate the caps, the ASD, enter, that stuff, that row, and then so on and so forth all the way up the board. And that's how they interact with the lighting. So they're not that's with this particular board, and that's with a lot of Razer boards. That's how they're going to react to Razer boards. Now, as far as their own boards, I don't know. I've never used a HyperX board. I can't tell you whether, how their illumination is set up. I imagine it's very similar, but you never know. I mean, if they do have more of a ring style light where the light surrounds the entire switch body, I imagine that would, they could really take advantage of that lighting then, and it would be astronomical. You'd practically have to dim it down, which would be a good thing in my opinion. But so yeah, they're not a end all be all in terms of illumination, and what you see in the images or in the videos is not what I see in real life. When you get them, when you install them, you're going to think at first, wow, these things are going to be absolutely stellar, mind-blowing. They are going to make your keyboard look better, but they're not going to make it look brighter. And I think that's the common misinformation that's being ultimately provided. They will make it look brighter than the original stock keycaps that you have. That's fact. But especially with Razer, but not in the sense of if you're going from ABS to these, or if you're going, from stock to these. ABS to these, they'll be dimmer, but stock, they'll obviously be brighter. So in reality, yeah, I had another point to make on them, and it blew right out of my skull, because that's what happens at, almost 50 years old. You forget your own name half the time. But they're good quality. I can recommend them. I totally can. I enjoy them. And the one thing that I like about them, in addition to the way that the characters light up and everything is the fact that, and this is the big reason why we get these things in the first place, is the way that the white interacts with the rest. Now, if you have a white board, it's obviously going to look a lot different. You are probably going to get a better light spill. But with black, your tray, it's not going to illuminate your tray, okay? It's not like the older Black Widows where the keys are recessed into a tray a little bit, and that's what's being lit up. So you get this really strong backlit from underneath that's really, I mean, if you look in between the keys, each one of those little squares, the holes that they're in, is heavily illuminated, especially with the old non-chroma Black Widows. I mean, that was so bright out of the box that I had to actually dim it down, which is, once again, is a good thing. I would rather have too much light and have to back it off than have not enough and feel like I need more, if that makes sense. So ultimately, yeah, these are good. They're gonna add a nice flow, and you will be able to see your animations a lot better when you start getting into custom profiles, lighting profiles and stuff like that. You will definitely be able to see, because I've got a wheel effect where the light just kind of goes around. You've seen it, and that's exactly, it makes that pop a lot more, especially in the dark. I'll just sit here and turn the lights off and stare at them. Anyways, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Y'all take care, stay safe, and I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.